Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
We're back with David and Mark. So, Mark, that was President Obama's message to Californians. I played you Gavin Newsom's message about fundraising. But I want to put up a split screen. On Friday, the New York Times reported that the Justice Department will monitor elections in California and New Jersey. Times wrote it like this. The Trump administration said on Friday that the Justice Department will monitor polling sites in California and New Jersey ahead of the November 4th election, amid requests by Republican Party officials in those states. Although election monitoring by the Justice Department is not uncommon, it will likely heighten tensions as voters weigh in on some of the nation's most closely watched races. You know why I don't believe that the Republicans did that? Because Politico reported this, quote, Republicans appear to have all but abandoned their efforts to defeat a Democratic gerrymander of California's House districts 1 week before it goes before voters. As Democrats pummel the state with Yes on 50 advertising, the Republican side of the battle has gone quiet. Major GOP donors and party leaders have effectively vanished from the front lines. I mean, did they vanish from the front lines because Trump said we're calling in the military? Or, I mean, what do you make of those two pieces of reporting?
So, look, I agree with the first part of what the New York Times wrote, but not the second part. The second part is the throat clearing that we too oftentimes get, which is, well, but monitors are not that unusual. But critics are concerned. It's the same stuff we've gotten, frankly, about some of the indictments. This Department of Justice is not interested in protecting minority voting rights, which is the only reason why monitors are historically sent. Okay, so we need to stop saying, well, it's not unusual in this respect and it's unusual in that respect. This is totally a put up by Donald Trump, who controls this Department of Justice. Remember, Donald Trump has said he can control the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi, who is the Attorney General, is a sycophant. All of the loyalists of Donald Trump run the place. And as they say, the people who invited them in were not the citizen groups, were not the minority communities, but were the Republican Party. So we need to understand that there is nothing normal about this. This is just dangerous. And here is why they're doing it, for 2 reasons. Number one, because Donald Trump is a vain man with a very fragile ego. And he's going to need to explain why it is that California successfully passed this ballot initiative and why it is that his buddy in New Jersey lost to Mikey Sherrill. And so if you notice, they're not sending people into Virginia. That's a race in which a Republican has the governorship, and the Republican candidate for governor has no chance of winning. So number one, they're being sent in so that he can lie and lie and lie, and then lie some more about what happened in the election. As sure as I sit here on Wednesday and Thursday of next week, you and I will be talking, and you can play the tape back, that he is claiming there was widespread fraud in California and widespread fraud in New Jersey. And the fact that these monitors are on the ground, they will give some credence in some quarters, because he'll be able to say, well, we had monitors on the ground. This is what they said, whether that's what they said or not. The second reason he has the monitors on the ground is to normalize this while he tests the fence to find vulnerabilities in 2025 for the big show in 2026.
David, I'm wrapping this around your thought about failure of imagination. I mean, what if this is what we have to imagine, that the presence of federal agents and troops that Trump keeps talking about deploying, and Steve Bannon's been talking about for months now, that is the play, and that normalizing them there ostensibly around immigration raids is about a range of projects and efforts, all serving sort of this MAGA movement by normalizing troops in the streets.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the question to ask, and I think we see it happening already. There's a very specific federal law that says that you cannot send federal law enforcement or armed troops to polling places. But if you put people in the streets of cities, if you put the armed forces or the National Guard or ICE in the streets of cities now, well ahead of elections, then it's not at the polling places, it's not because of the elections. You get people used to it. If you put monitors out, you get people used to it. So I think it is part of a long-running plan. And when Mark says the crisis is not, we're not on the brink of a crisis, the crisis is happening now. I think this is a good example of what that looks like. These things are already happening. This isn't a hypothetical that happens in 2026 or happens in, September, October, or November of 2026. It's something that's already going on.
Mark, take me inside the state-by-state effort. We've talked about California, but I saw that Maryland is going to sit this one out. What's going on there?
Yeah, look, I hope the Democrats in Maryland reconsider this. We've heard from one legislative leader in Maryland who said that they're going to sit it out. But honestly, there's no reason for Maryland to sit it out. There is no reason why Maryland cannot redraw its maps and do what is necessary to protect democracy. So on a state-by-state basis, the way to think about this is Republicans have gerrymandered or further gerrymandered maps in Texas, in Missouri, and in North Carolina. Some of the most grotesque extreme gerrymanders became even worse. And all three of those states got sued almost immediately by me and my law firm, and in some cases by others. And so those cases are playing themselves out. In the meantime, you have California about on the precipice of passing a new map that will add 5 Democratic seats. Virginia is also in the process of doing that. Earlier today, the legislature took the first big step there. Republicans went to court to try to block it, and they failed this morning. I'm also proud of my law firm's role there in preventing Republicans from stopping that process from moving forward. And now we move to kind of the next level. We see what do Republicans do in Ohio and Florida and Kansas and Indiana and Nebraska and New Hampshire. And then what do Democrats do in the states that they control? What happens in Washington and Oregon and Colorado and Illinois and Maryland? You know, I have been saying for months that Democrats need to, in every one of these states, look at what tools are available to them and take it seriously. You know, everyone was saying that it was impossible to do anything in Virginia, and now Virginia found a way to do something. People said it was impossible to do something in California, and Gavin Newsom found a way. People said it was impossible to do something in New York, and then guess what? My law firm, we sued New York. And now all of a sudden everyone is saying, well, maybe there is something that can be done in New York via litigation that we brought to vindicate the right of minority voters. So I think we just need more imagination, to use the word of the day, and creativity and urgency to this.